Welcome to Radical Underdogs, and we are in position 12, right next to the car of 848. That's Matt Crozier. You've got onboard footage from Matt. The lights are about to go on right now, and they're about to go off. The revs are rising, and they're off, and we are off on this so many mile circuit at Snetterton, 300 circuit. Cars getting together up ahead. There's 3 wide as we go through Ritchie's for the first time. We've made an all-right start. You can see us there on the right-hand side. That's the 264. That's the car we're on now. There's contact up ahead. I think it might have been Kev Bird and Johnny Greens potentially coming together there. We've got going around the outside down into Wilson. The cars often stack up on the inside on the first lap. You can see that's exactly what's happening to Matt. He is boxed in. We're right on the outside, putting a lot of trust in the trust in the drivers on the inside there. That's car number 50 of John Pethick. Got given room now to Matt on the outside. Loads of room actually given to Matt on the outside, but we are through. We've got back that position. You can see Matt controlling it nicely on the exit there, but we were still 1 position behind Matt at the start, so we're up 1 position on this frantic MX-5 start. There are 28, 29 cars in this grid. It's a great healthy championship at the moment. This is not the only MX-5 Mark 1 Championship. There is the MX-5 Championship as well. So there's sort of 60 odd Mark 1 Mazdas out this weekend at Snetterton. It's a really healthy racing championship, and in the UK there are other series as well of Mark 1 Championships. So lots going on in the club racing scene. But no time to think about that as we go down onto the Bentley Straight for the first time, one of the longest straights in club motorsport. This time out, I've not been very kind to myself and set the timing, and you can look at my last race for the reason why, but I set the timing kind of very conservatively and giving a little bit of a bump draft there, not quite expecting to do it quite so late on in the straight, and then braking very early for the corner and actually losing loads of time. And I think that might have been, can't see the numbers very clearly, but that might have been Paul Simard and 52 up ahead. We found ourselves in a nice little pocket of space at the end of lap 1. Not always what you want for close racing, but and this corner around at the last corner of the quorum is also a braking zone into Murray's. Quite a tricky corner to get right, and then with the massive sausage curb on the inside of Murray's there, it makes it very easy to unsettle the car, but all successfully navigated. Lap 1 is now complete. Going on to lap 2, and it is time for garage corner. As you can see, a little bit of a pocket of space, so a bit of time to talk about some of the other things that go alongside club racing. Feel free to skip ahead. I will promise not to miss any of the action, but if out of interest this time we're talking about brake pads. And brake pads are free in the MX-5 Clubman Championship. That means that you're basically not controlled, so the size and the pattern of the disc and the pad is controlled, so you can't go overboard and pick a big brake disc upgrade or anything like that. You've got to stick with the standard pattern parts, but both the disc and the pad are, well, more or less free. The disc can't be a vented disc, it can't be drilled, so you have to stick a standard pattern disc on there. You can pick any manufacturer you want. I've not gone overboard with the discs, to be honest. I'm running an EBC disc, but to be honest, I think the standard Mazda part would be pretty good as well. Really, these cars are pretty light, and we're not super high speed, so we're not dumping an awful lot of energy into them. The pads do make a difference though, and I've tried a whole variety of pads in my racing career so far, and so I'll give you a bit of the benefit of 5 years of racing on different pads and my experience of them. I mean, your mileage will vary, and there are, I reckon, at least two or three main pads that most of the other competitors you see around us here on this racetrack are using. I'm using, just to skip to the point of what do I use? I use the Hawk DTC 30s. Again, you can go higher in the scale than that, but this is the lightweight car, not particularly high speed, so we're braking sort of from 100 to, I guess, 30 or 40 at the slowest corners. So the heaviest braking zones will only see a moderate amount of energy. We're not in a Nissan GTR or something like that. So we are running the DTC 30 Hawks front and rear with EBC discs. In my racing career, I've tried out a few other things. So I've tried out the yellow, green, blue stuffs, red stuffs, whatever. Didn't get on with those at all. They barely lasted a weekend. Brake feel wasn't great. I know EBC maybe have modified it since I last did that 5 years ago, so don't take that as a recommendation, but I wouldn't go back to them personally. Maybe the blue ones if there's anything, because they're more of a race pad, but you can't use those on the road. I think they only really work at high temperatures. Carbotex are what other people use as well. I've been on Carbotex XP10s and XP8s. For the Mazda, XP8s is all you need. Actually, the 10s were way too hard. You needed a lot of temperature. Well, and I know some people probably do run the 10s. I found myself going through discs, so I went through 2 sets of discs before I went through the pads on the XP10s. It just was, I probably could have kept the disc going, but it just started making a horrible noise, lots of micro cracks, and I just ended up replacing them. And with the Hawks, I've had these on for a year of racing. I don't do every single test day, but the Hawks I've had over a year now, and they've been fine. For a cheap pad, I've had, let's have a look. Oh, Matt's closing up, by the way, so I'll finish this off quickly. I had a Mintex as a cheap pad as well, relatively cheap Mintex pads, and they've been all right actually. Well, they've been all right for racing, but they only last one weekend. So really, it's better to splash out on the Hawks if you're going to be doing anything more than just one track weekend. But here we go. Matt is on for the pass. He's gone all the way around the outside. How did he do that? Well, he just closed that down the brake, and he was much, much better. You can see a cone going flying there. Matt much better on the brakes, going down after the long Bentley straight into Brundle Nelson. I was just caught napping there, talking about brakes. Matt's found his way past. So all that work put in on lap 1 just shows you shouldn't be chatting about brakes whilst you're racing. So we are now back to trying to find a way back past Matt, because this race is now suddenly lit up, because I was just happily trundling around minding my own business, and actually Matt managed to find his way back past. I think, again, not helped by the fact that I'm running this racing driver excuses coming up, by the way. Not helped by the fact that I am not running a particularly aggressive timing setup. You'll have to look at the garage corner from last, too long to explain. But basically, it's half of what I wanted it to be. So in terms of timing advance, so not getting the full power at the top end out of this engine that I'd really like to be getting on a racetrack like this. But anyway, we are going to have to try and find a way back past Matt now. He has been quick in the last race and quick in this race as well. We're on the same tyres, I think. Different set. We're all the same. I'm not going to get into that whole tyre debate, by the way. Feel free to have a go in the comments around tyres. That is the one thing I'd quite like this championship to sort out, actually, would be to get everyone on the same tyre. And a tyre that lasts. These Kumos are pretty inconsistent, and batch numbers matter because they're not consistent across batches. They go off the different shaving suppliers. There's 3 different people that supply shaved tyres, and they're all different, and they all give different advantages here and there, and they have different prices. Honestly, it's a bit of a mess for a one-make championship at the bottom end of club motorsport. We're all trying to get out, have a good time, and be relatively competitive in a relatively inexpensive machinery. But racing is racing; it's always pretty expensive. So that's the one thing I'd quite like this championship to sort out. We're going to try and catch up with Matt here, and we are struggling to do so at the moment. He is putting in solid laps here. A lot of the time, you find your way past drivers when they make mistakes. So we're just not finding ourselves catching up with Matt here. He's not making many mistakes. He's putting his car where it needs to be. He's struggling for grip here and there, but he's not making any major mistakes. So we're not able to really catch up. I love seeing the cars under load through Coram. It's one of the trickiest corners on this circuit, because you are turning, but also it's the braking zone. So it's a tricky corner, that one. Not a sponsored segment, by the way, because of course we have nowhere near enough subscribers. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed and you are liking it so far, please do subscribe. It massively helps. Nearly at 500. 500 would be a good number because there's certainly benefits you can get from YouTube. So not a sponsored segment at all, but one of the new sponsors on the car, you might see it in races coming up, is Driving Ukraine. So a friend of mine and I drove a pickup truck to Ukraine a few weeks ago now and delivered that to support what's going on over there, support the people of Ukraine defending themselves against aggression, basically. So it's a great charity. Well, it's not a charity, it's a small limited company that provides these equipment. It was really well organised and really something that I think if you're interested in getting involved in something like that, that's something you should definitely be doing. Having a look at their website and having a chat with me, come and have a chat at a race weekend or whatever, and I can talk you through the experience. Basically, I would thoroughly recommend it. I felt like we absolutely did something that benefited what's going on over there. So as I say, not a sponsored segment, but again, happy to talk about it at length to anyone who's interested, basically. So that's Driving Ukraine. You can find drivingukraine.org or something like that, or just Google it, it'll come up. Anyway, back to the race. We are struggling to keep up with Matt. You can see we're just getting close down the straight, but just not close enough, and he's not making mistakes. So we're not able to get our car alongside. We're not making any last minute lunges down the inside. That's not my style of racing, really. I'd like to kind of... Oh, you can see nearly losing a bit of control there, but actually just locking a left front there going through the Brundle-Nelson complex. It's a fast bit of the track going down the Bentley straight into the Brundle-Nelson. It's tricky to get right, and you can see locking up there, not getting it right, and Matt being able to get clear round core of it into Murray's. Going on to the centre straight, and this was probably the last lap of the race, so if it's going to be a time to get this right, it is going to be in the next lap or so. So either this one or the next one is going to be the last lap. We've been racing, it's 15-minute races in the VRCC MX-5 Clubman Championship, get it right. That is the full name of the championship. You can see looking in my mirrors, I'm actually pretty much alright for behind, so it's just all about attack at the moment. I think behind us we've got a few cars fighting position. You see hand out the window, you can see the double waved yellow, and I think that is a car well off on the left there on the grass. Loads of runoff here at Snetterton, but it is still possible to hit the barriers. Ask me how I know. Especially round at Williams on the inside, actually. The barriers are fairly close on the inside, and on the outside, especially around here, there's just grass. So I guess if you did run wide, it is quite easy to hit the barriers on the outside here, but generally speaking, it's a pretty good track day circuit. Lots of runoff, quite wide track. Tricky bits to get right, but on all the tricky bits of the circuit, most of them have a bit of runoff as well. So it's a great circuit to come and learn on if you haven't done a track day before. So yeah, I would thoroughly recommend Snetterton. It's not my favourite track, but it's definitely a track worth doing for a track day. And for some reason, you don't get complete maniacs like you do at Donington sometimes. So better from that perspective as well. You get maniacs at all track days, don't you? But here we are onto the Bentley straight once again in the MX-5, powering down. This newly rebuilt engine is still going. I'm surprised myself because I built this over the winter. If you haven't seen that video, you can go back and look at how that worked out, which didn't work out brilliantly. You can see just not enough power though, so not enough power to catch Matt down the straight, not enough to put the car alongside. Matt, you can see struggling for grip as he puts the power down on the exit of Nelson as we go down to bomb hole, up into fourth early, and then trying to carry as much speed as possible, foot flat to the floor, then start. I was actually feathering the throttle a little bit. You can see here, just around here, is feathering the throttle a little bit, but mostly flat, and then you have to pick your braking point carefully through the apex, actually hitting the apex this time. You can see on multiple occasions on this track I've been missing apexes all over the place, so definitely room to improve on the driving round here. Running fifth in the championship at this point, but not going to be able to keep fifth with finishes down in 10th and 11th like we are at the moment. So and I think there's a lot of time to find in the driver. You can see nicely hitting the apex there on the first corner, probably still some time to find. You can see not using all the circuit on the exit. There are double waved yellows here, so obviously slowing down a little bit more than you would do normally, but I kind of use that as an opportunity to kind of really make sure I'm nailing the line if I'm not carrying all the speed I would do normally because of those double waved yellows, making sure that you are giving any marshals that might be out on circuit, you have to be 100% sure you're not going to come off in those situations. So double waved yellows, slowing down, making sure that you're prepared to stop. You can see actually we hear Matt's timer is going on. He's got a kitchen timer. Not happy, by the way, not happy about missing the gear. So Matt's getting away. It's very easy to miss the gear. Second to third shift in these I love the gas, the gearbox. But second to third shift is. I sometimes stick in third for corners that are borderline second or third gear, just because it's much easier to go third to fourth, and that second to third shift is so easy to mess up, either just missing in the gate or going into fifth. Really easy to mess up there. Last time, last chance. Bentley straight, catching, outside, inside, going on the outside, but not quite enough. There's not enough time to get alongside. So Matt is going to have to make a mistake for us to get past, but we need to be there to capitalise on any mistakes Matt makes on the final 2 or 3 corners left of this race. Through bomb hole, no mistake, almost making a mistake ourselves, having to correct, keeping the foot to the floor, in fourth gear, round Coram, down into the braking zone for Murray's. Is Matt going to make a mistake on the very last corner of the race? We're almost making a mistake, going that wide. Matt also sliding a little bit on the exit. These tyres are very hot at the end of this race. You can see the sun beating down on the circuit. Cross the line, and again it's a 12th position, so up 1 position, down 1 position, and Matt driving a fantastic race there at the end, just not putting too many feet wrong, not wrong enough for me to get past anyway. Next time out it is at Donington Park. Hopefully not too long a gap between publishing this video and publishing the next one. Sorry, lots of stuff going on at home. We'll try and get the videos out relatively regularly, but we'll see what we can do. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch you again in the next one.